The Fifth Dimension. One day in the summer of 2011, I was reading something about the importance of gratitude for our spiritual development. I don't remember now what it was, but it made a big impression on me, and I began looking for reasons to be grateful. It wasn't all that hard. There is something wonderful everywhere we look. It's easy to appreciate a beautiful sunset or the Rocky Mountains, but there's also a beauty indoors in the most ordinary places. The next day I was up at 5 a.m. for a business trip to D.C. I spent the whole drive to the airport looking at things and being grateful. The sky, of course, provided a lot of material. Denver's downtown looked like the city of Oz in the distance. Even the shapes and colors of cars on the highway were beautiful. I could admire the intense red of their brake lights. I kept this up all the way to my gate at the airport. So many colors, shapes, and textures. On the airplane, I started meditating before we pushed back from the gate. And because it was early, I fell asleep. I woke up as a young flight attendant asked what I would like to drink. I got orange juice and enjoyed the flavor as never before and thanked God for it. Off the airplane in D.C., I was riding the metro from National Airport toward my hotel, and I was still at it. But I was kind of running out of stuff to be genuinely appreciative of. Then with some surprise and delight, I noticed the air I was breathing. It's always around us, caressing, cooling or warming, sustaining us with life-giving oxygen and carrying away our carbon waste. Well, here was something to be grateful for. I closed my eyes and started inhaling long, deep breaths. When I opened my eyes, some of the wonder had returned to the people and objects in the subway car. Looking back, I wonder how I kept this up for so long. I've never been able to sustain that level of focus and gratitude for more than a few minutes. Anyway, I got off the train at Farragut North, rode the escalator up to K Street, and started walking east along the sidewalk pulling my bag. It was a balmy Sunday afternoon in August with soft sunlight filtering through thin clouds. The scene was unutterably beautiful, though nothing was out of the ordinary. I had walked this way many times before, yet today objects appeared strange and wonderful. It was like walking on an alien planet, except that I knew my surroundings. This was now no exercise in gratitude. I was not using my imagination at all. I focused on a steel pipe sticking up 5 or 6 feet out of the sidewalk with a pattern of half-inch holes drilled in the top 8 inches or so. It filled me with the most ecstatic love and joy. Even as I thrilled to this feeling, I realized that it was the thought and care someone had taken to create this object that were the source of its beauty. I knew that it was a steel pipe and supposed that it was a surge damper in the municipal water distribution system. But the word pipe never entered my mind, nor did any of those other words. In fact, I really was not labeling anything. It was as if I was seeing things in themselves as they were. Well, it was the same with everything else. Grates in the sidewalk, traffic lights, concrete curbs, a newspaper box. Everything glowed with the thoughts of its creator. The ornate carpet pattern and the light fixtures in my hotel, which ordinarily I would not have noticed, much less appreciated, I saw as having been designed for my pleasure and enjoyment. Buildings that I passed had a magnificence that made me think of ancient Egypt. And every person I passed was someone I loved. I had to force myself not to stare at these brothers and sisters who were so present and lovely. Now I was completely lucid and present in my body. I felt delight and well-being at a level that I had never known. There was no possibility of sorrow. Standing by myself on a street corner waiting for the light to change, I spoke a quiet word of thanks. And I said that I would be happy if this experience lasted the rest of my life. Actually, the experience lasted until about noon the next day. I felt it slipping away during my meeting in the morning. It wasn't withdrawn from me, but I let it go as I identified with my thinking mind. There seemed to be no help for it. I had responsibilities that I couldn't ignore. Later, I wondered whether I might have retained the experience longer by engaging in my business politics from a perspective of unity and abundance rather than from one of separation and scarcity. I've read that after the winter solstice of 2012, humanity is moving into the fifth dimension. From my reading, it seems that the fifth dimension is the lowest spiritual plane, the one closest to our physical world in the third dimension. Rudolf Steiner wrote that in the lowest spiritual plane, thoughts appear as things. And from this, I infer that I was on the brink of the fifth dimension. So I now think that humanity is not going anywhere after 2012. Why would we leave this beautiful planet? I believe that this experience that I had is coming for all of us, and that we will stay here on Earth and experience ourselves and our world in the third and fifth dimensions simultaneously. It will be truly heaven on earth.